Perfect. So hello, how are you?
Hello. Fine, and you, Gali?
Yes, I am so good. Thank you so much for ask. So we will start right now with our speaking call. So I want to talk about which case did you choose and why? And first of all, I want that you explain me like a little resume about the case, and then after that we will start to do some questions as always. Okay?
Well, it's a very famous case here in Costa Rica.
Mhm.
It starts at 2008 here in my job,
Mhm.
and is they call it like in the press on that like crucitas.
Crucitas. What did you say
Yes,
before? They call it, and then you say something like what? The what?
the press call it crucitas.
The what? The
The press. I don't know.
okay. The
The
media.
newspapers and the
Yes. Okay.
news they call it crucitas. Yeah.
Yeah. Will be better, like in this case, to speak about media. The media call it because there is like journalists inside of that. It's more general. You're talking about newspapers, everything. So will be
Yes.
the media.
And
Okay. The media
all
call it crucitas.
yes. It's because the place where is the how I call it yesterday the the outside minery. I think it's called like that. And
Mines.
it is yes,
Mines.
they are mines.
Yes.
It starts like something in on like in an they start taking gold and other metals in an illegal way.
Yeah.
And after that they realized that were illegals, but there was an industry involved that is called Industrias Infinito,
Mhm.
and it just started getting bigger and bigger because first of all it was the mines, but after that they start to taking a lot of land
Yeah.
belongs to the state and belongs to other people, so it just gets bigger with the time. And even they took some indigenous properties too,
Okay.
so it's just like a big snowball that it just keeps
Yeah.
getting bigger.
Yes.
The case really lasts like 7 years because the trial was huge. They had a lot of hearings, and the process was really dense.
Yeah.
The lawyers that took it, they were really really specialized in agricultural law, um, and they took a lot of, even I think there's one human rights foundation organization
Yeah.
that is part in the process. And the the final sentence was that they have to pay for the ambiental. How do you say ambiental? Sorry, I forgot.
Environment. No worries. Environment.
The environmental damage. Yes,
Yes.
and they have to go. They have to return the money that they took from the gold that they stole to the state, and they have to get back the properties to the indigenous and the people of the region. It was heavy, heavy, and also right now they're having troubles because they are not fulfilling the sentence.
Mm-hmm.
They are making the same bad stuff again, so they're making illegal stuff, and they're taking gold and all the metals, all the metals that are there. Sorry, that was
Yeah.
hard.
No worries.
But it's like a continuous fight, and
Okay.
that case is still here in my job. The judges at my job were the ones that decide about it, but it keeps going, and it's a lot of money, and it's a lot of environmental damage, and we are working on it.
Okay, perfect. Did you check the profiles of the lawyers that are involved in this case?
Yes,
Okay,
in
let me
fact,
know a little bit about it.
I call one of them because I work a lot in the trials, and he came to the office like 3 times a week. So I
Okay.
call with him, I talk to him, and I ask him like what what is the profile for him that he thinks that benefits him in that case. And he told me that, well, the agricultural law is basic because we need to know the use of the land, we need to use who is the person that owns the land, and we need to know the, I don't know how to say it, the limitations. I don't know. I don't know. Las
Que,
delimitaciones del terreno and how it works, and
mhm.
that we need to know a lot about environmental
You
law.
can say in this case, you can say just about the land. We need to get
About
all the information from the land.
okay.
Okay, perfect.
Sorry, I'm writing. Well,
No worries.
and he told me that we need to know. They need to know a lot about human rights in indigenous, territorial, and all that stuff that need to be converged in one case because they cannot let behind any law. They need to provide that case with all that stuff, with all that
Areas?
yes, with all that weapons, because
Mm-hmm.
when they get and the state starts to fight, it's kind of hard, and they forgot all that stuff, and they need to make sure that the judges sorry, and take care of that stuff, because it's like he told me that it was his most complete case, because he needs to go
Complex.
like complex,
Complex.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
complex,
Complex
yes,
case. Mm-hmm.
because he needs to be like history of law, human rights, agricultural law, international law, and he needs to know about environmental law. It was like you need to know a little bit of everything, and you need to manage every law that you know in that area,
Case.
because it gets really really hard. And he told me that the person who gets a case like that needs to be open-minded, in a way that you are talking about the house, the food, the money, the incomes of a person, and that you need to know that you are affecting culture, you are affecting history, and you are affecting a lot of parts of the Costa Rica, of the old Costa Rica, and they have to know that that thing matter too, because they can leave that alone too. So they try to keep everything in mind, and I think that is really hard, because you can screw it in just one thing, and you will all be lost.
Okay, perfect. Ana Maria, I want to listen your opinion about the importance of agricultural law. Why do you think that is important this matter?
When I got that course in college, for me was hard. I got it in my degree, and I thought that it would be easy for real, but it's not. And
Okay.
when you need to get that technical, is it's kind of hard, but you need to realize that the land is when everything starts, and that agricultural law is most about the people and all that stuff that is behind that. Because when you think in agricultural law, you think it's like the person who works the land and that's it.
Yeah.
But they had a lot of it has a lot of meanings, and it has a lot of things to be done, because I don't know why, and I start realizing that what for what we talked yesterday, that
Mm-hmm.
it has a lot of areas and a lot of views, and we can use in it really a lot of ways, and we
Yeah.
can even mix it with other areas, and I really like that. And I think the most important part of it is that maybe the agricultural law provides for like a waive for some areas that maybe civil rights, or maybe the private law doesn't, I don't know how to say, contemplar.
Doesn't see or oversee it or check
Yes,
or
and I think it's really important.
yeah. But in your law degree, did you check this matter on your law school, or you was talking about your post graduation studies?
No, I took it in my law school. I got
You saw it.
environmental. Yes, I had a
Okay.
course. I
Mm-hmm.
got that one, and I got environmental law.
Okay.
I got the both of
Environmental.
them.
Yes,
Yes,
I also see like environmental law, but with agrarian law, I never check it like at the university as a subject. Just we discuss a little bit, but so general. We never talk about all the consequences, and I never like analyze the area. I wanna say, so that makes that I start to analyze it now, and this is a really important matter because you can live without some commerce stuff, but this is the main product. So
yes,
it's like the first base of the economy. We should study like deeper at a university. So
and it's
okay,
quite science, because I don't know if you know, but here in Costa Rica, at the University of Costa Rica, we have a profession that is called agricultural economy, and
yeah,
they take agrarian law like super serious,
agrarian,
because ah,
agrarian,
agrarian, sorry,
agrarian law. Mhm.
agrarian law, and they take it really serious here.
Okay.
You know that the agriculture is more like one of the first incomes of us, so
Mhm.
they take really there. Well, here is a big deal, but I think they have to make it more important. Like you said, it's a base.
Yeah, it's the base. And do you think that at this point becomes like necessary that in our countries we get like post graduation studies in this matter? Or how do you
Yes,
think that we should manage it? Like how one lawyer can connect it by administrative law, or do you think that it's important to get like other post graduation degree? This is just an opinion because
I think
I don't know.
that maybe in our regular courses in law school we have to get like at least one.
Mhm.
Maybe agrarian law, no, but maybe environmental law for me is a super yes.
Yes.
But um, I think that maybe if we get some specialized people in that area, maybe like a good way to make it more like famous, and make it more like popular, so more people can get into it, and maybe work a little hard in that area.
Okay. Thank you so much for your opinion, for your case, and for all the questions that you answered tonight. I will please ask you that you please fill the survey. Now I turn it on. And
Okay,
after that, we are done. Thank you so much for
and
your
I
time.
think we're ready.
Okay, thank you so much.
Bye. Hi,
Bye.
Francela.
Francela, hello. How are you? I can't I can't listen. Hello.
Y ahora
Now?
sí.
Yes. Hello, how are you?
Fine, how are you?
I'm so good. Thank you so much for asking. So, let me know the first of all if you choose a case or maybe just an article or a sentence or a final decision about agricultural law or agrarian law, same,
Mhm.
and let me know about it.
Yes, we have different cases here in Costa Rica, but
Mhm.
the one that is more concerning for me is the one for the open cast mining. The name of it is Crucitas.
Oh yeah, it's the same case that choose. I know it. Now I know it. But tell me, now it's like similar, familiar for me because was the one that choose Ana Maria.
Ana María. Okay,
Crucitas.
Crucitas. So
Okay.
yes, at the northern, okay, we have different borders with Nicaragua. One
Yeah.
of those borders is located at the north of San Carlos. San Carlos is like
Yeah.
a city here. So basically, what is happening is that there have been people obtaining gold illegally from that part of the country.
Yeah.
And basically, it started affecting just agricultural law, but then it is mixing different legal areas because there is people coming from Nicaragua and they are crossing the border without going. They are doing like a border run, but they are not going through the immigration department.
Oh yes,
So
yeah. They are like coming like in an illegal way.
in an illegal way. Okay, so it started with affecting the
Or sorry
environment,
that I interrupt. Or non-regular way.
not a regular
Non-regular.
way. Okay,
Okay.
so it has started affecting environmental law, but now it is also affecting other legal areas in the country because there are coming minors and people from Nicaragua and other places, and basically they are just not affecting just the environment. They are also affecting us because there are coming drug dealers, and there
Okay.
are different minor offenses that are being committed in that area. So basically, it's a huge impact, the one that we are suffering about it, because they are performing illegal logging at the place and where they are extracting the gold. They are also committing the water pollution because there are obtaining mercury from the place.
Yeah.
So our water is being it's being polluted by the chemicals that they are using. They are also okay. There is ground pollution because of the method that they are using to obtain the gold. And let's see, the name of the company that was extracting the gold is Infinite Gold Industry. They
And it's a
said that
company from Costa Rica or from other country.
the name of the company is from Canada, but
Mm.
the guy who owns the company, the name of him is Ciro Casas, and he is a person here in Costa Rica. So he is part of the problem. I'm not sure if he is Costa Rican or if he became a citizen, but he is from here. And one of the parts that is more concerning is that one of our presidents, the name of him is Oscar Arias, he was involved in the problem. So he was taking advantage of what they were obtaining with the gold extraction.
Costa Rica has a lot of indigenous communities. I don't have any idea about it or
Indigenous
not.
community.
Yes.
Yes, actually, when I was a few hours ago, when I was talking with my mother, I was explaining her what we were um, performing today, and she was telling me there is a guy who was killed, who was murdered because he was defending indigenous communities.
Same,
But
same as my country.
that I thought this was like the case that Ana Maria or of Karen can choose, and then I said no, I would move forward with Crucitas because
Okay,
it's
I
not
will
more
learn.
relevant because when somebody is being murdered, I think to me it's more relevant a life of someone than something that can be affecting us because the guy was representing his community. But
Okay.
then I didn't choose the that
No, no
because
worries at all.
I was reading
So
and I found a lot of information related to Crucitas, so I thought
no,
since
it's
it was
okay.
in different matters, I thought that can be the one that we can discuss today.
No, it's okay. It's perfect. I want to also know if you saw this subject at university.
At
Like,
agricultural law, yes.
okay.
Mhm.
And how was the study? Like deep or not too much or general?
Well, it was a huge content, the one that we saw, but since this is an special law that we have here, this is
Mhm.
not something that you can get a specialized or because I think it was like 4 months, 3 hours per week what we took for environmental or agricultural law, but it was a lot of information and things that you don't know or you can when you are studying geography at high school, you are not connecting that to the effect. How can it affect your um is not sovereignty? How can it affect your country if, for example, the illegal logging, how is it affecting the environment and what are the consequences, the legal consequences for people who are performing that activity? So
Okay.
yes, it's something that we study, but it was not deep enough.
Okay, I understand it. And you was telling me that in this company, or this case, Crucitas, this guy, it's like part of the trouble. But you want to mention other academic profile from some lawyers that are involved in the case? Maybe you look for that to make some research and what they do, what they study, where all the information that you get will be like so useful. Analyze it.
Okay, I wrote it down because I found three guys who were fighting or who started the denuncia. How can I say denuncia?
The you can say sue, but all the process.
Okay. Okay. The guys who started with the zoo were basically three of them. One
Mhm,
of them is called Edgardo Araya.
mhm.
He um he was one of the guys who were suing Infinite Gold Industries, but then he was part of the Congress. So
Mm,
he is an attorney and he has a political career here in Costa Rica. He was also part of some municipalities here. He was one of them. Then there was another one. The name of him is Bernal Gamboa, and he is part of something called APREFLOFAS, which is like an association, an environmental association taking care of everything related to the ground and the environment. And then there was another, Alvaro Zagot. He is an environmental attorney. Um, two of them, I know one of them is Edgardo, and I think the other one is Bernal Gamboa. Some of those, both of them were graduated from a public university here. We call it Universidad de Costa Rica,
okay.
and they have like a postgraduate degree
Yeah.
related to environment and agricultural law. So this is a
Okay.
matter that it needs, you need to be specialized in the matter because of all of the facts that it can involve and how the country can be affected. You should have like a deep vision of what are the consequences of affecting the environment. If
Mhm.
you ask me if I would be interested in that, or if it is something that I like, it is not something that I would invest my time studying because I don't like it. I know it affects me and it affects all the country, but this is not something that I can feel passionate
Yeah, yeah,
studying
yeah.
or
No, that is
seeking.
okay. We we have different dreams and we like to invest our time in different things, and that is part of us. So it's natural. And do you think that maybe we didn't give the importance to this matter, like in our professional life? Even when I know that you don't want to become an agricultural lawyer, do you think that we maybe didn't um, pay a lot of attention as should be?
Okay. I think everybody makes conscience of the affections or of how are the consequences of environmental or agricultural damages, but not all of us are taking actions against it. Because,
Mhm.
for example, you know that when you're driving, if you're throwing trash over the window, you're polluting your country or your city. This is something that I think it's more related to the values that you have. That is because not all of them, not everybody is suing those situations. This
Yeah.
is not something that is common in everyone.
Mhm. But of course, depend depends the point of view. Um, from the information that I got in this case, in this Cruzitas case, some indigenous communities are involved, and maybe you do the research about which organizations are taking care of that rights or are overseeing the rights of these indigenous communities in this case, or maybe not. Maybe do you have that information?
I don't have that information. What I found is because it is in the border, so it is affecting Costa Rica and it is affecting Nicaragua.
Okay,
But about the indigenous communities, I didn't read that.
okay, perfect. And what is your opinion about the agricultural law?
It is important, even
Yeah.
if we're not working in that legal area. This is something that we should learn, or
Hmm.
because sometimes, for example, if you're in my area that I work immigration, it is also related to real estate. So if one of my customers is willing to buy a property that can be affecting the environment, I should know how to explain him or her what can be the damage of the activity that they would like to perform over there by, for example, the illegal logging of and everything, or what are the consequences if they are planning to, for example, buy a property and establishing like a factory, how the water can be polluted by the chemicals that they can be or wasting materials that they can throw to the river. This is something
Yeah.
that we should learn because it is also related to different matters. But even if this is not something that I feel passionate about it, I know that this is something that I should incorporate in my daily life. Because even if I have conscience that there is energy that is not going to be renewable, I should take more conscience in how to protect the resources.
Yeah, that point of view is really important, but I guess that is more connected with environmental law. This fields of law is like based on the primary sector of the economy, and it's more like livestock and all these agro businesses and farms lands. Um, it's like in the same group, but also different. So when we arrive to that topic, we will make some specific differences. We can like discuss how it's really different one of each other, and we will discuss it. But thank you so much for take the time to check all that information. And before you leave, I will please ask you that you fill the survey that now is online.
Did you get it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks to you
Goodbye.
for your time. Bye bye. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you. Same there.
Okay. Bye bye. La Leska, how are you?
Oh,
I can't.
sorry. I've been painting my room, so I gotta.
No worries. That is a good activity in these lockdown times. Okay. So, which cage, tengo trabada la lengua. Which case did you choose and why? Makes, please, can you make a little resume or abstract? And then after that, I will start to do some questions.
Okay, I have one that it's a case. As far as I know, it's a case. I looked for it, but I have another one that is more like the case itself, the one that it's more constructed. It's about forest deforestation, and the other one I have is about protect some territories, and it's also linked with animals and whatnot, and vegetables and things like that. Well, the first
Okay.
one is about a company called Cacao Peru SAC, as far as I know. And I think this was a historical thing, though I don't remember it when it came out, but they say that around 2013 or so, um, there were multiple people from this place called Tam Tashi Tamshiyuko, I think. It's a place in Loreto. No, Tamshiyaku. That's the name. Sorry. From
Okay.
Loreto, that it's a place in our north part of Peru, closer to Brazil. It's more like a jungle thing. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of forest, there's a lot of trees
Yeah.
that are protected because you know that there is illegal deforestation, whatever, and well, that the world is slowly losing its trees. So these places are protected. What this company did, apart from like selling cacao, that cacao itself, it's something that has been proven that the way it's collected, the way it's grown, it's very harmful for the environment it is in. It's hurtful for the environment, for the people itself, because the people that work on those kinds of things live with a very like small budget, it's more salary, and they work long hours. And in those places where it's really remote from the main capital, Lima, people like even kids work. Well, apart from those problems that come with the cacao industry, that it's very distracting, and that's why people don't actually want to support it anymore if it's not responsible and accountable for what they did. Apart from that, what these people called the attention of the authorities was that they were like they bought a small area of land that was permitted for them to have, but they keep cutting trees. Well, they don't call it themselves trees; they call it like wood material. So I don't know if that's just a fancy way to say trees, but they say
Yeah.
wood related materials or something like that. So that was away from their from what they bought. So they thought that
Yeah.
what you bought, you get everything that it's surrounded by it, that was protected. But no,
Yeah.
they shouldn't. And And then when the authorities went, how is it? The prosecutor went with all its team to do the
Mhm.
check how the situation was, because you receive this case and you have to go check in person, take photos to see if there's something wrong, so you can build a case from it. So they went, and when they went, they were denied the entrance. Like, the security from these guys denied the entrance of the prosecutor and its team to the place. And then when they were allowed to go in, they from the start you could see that people were still doing, like, cutting trees, so they were still damaging the area. You can see it even from the start. It was clear as day that they were doing that. And as they can take photos, they can take videos, they can do whatever, they can recollect all that evidence. And when the owners of this company, that were three people that were also the ones that were in this case, I don't remember their names, but they were three people that they were sentenced to jail. Just to do a little spoiler, they were sentenced to jail, and they were sentenced for to pay 15 million soles when they were
Okay.
found guilty. Um, and they kind of wanted to obstruct that process. Like, no, you can go there. No, you can see that. No, you can do this. No, you can
Mhm.
take photos, and trying not to get them the evidence that they needed. So, but with what they had already, they could build a case from it. And they built a case from obstruction of law, because they obstructed you to get info and the evidence to build a case. And from, they said something really interesting that I couldn't read more, because it was the sentence, I don't know how to say it, la sentencia was
Yeah,
blocked.
the final decision is
Again,
under
the
reserve.
paper, yeah, the paper, the final decision was blocked, so I couldn't read more, like, more that I
Uh-huh.
wanted to. But it also said something that uh, they claimed that the deforestation as a crime did no longer existed. And the
Mhm.
prosecutor was like, okay, if we don't go for deforestation itself, we go for transformation, because you're changing an area that isn't supposed to be changed. And
Yeah.
that was something that they took in count. That's something clever. Like, from a prosecutor, it's something clever. Like, you're trying to find a way to get these people accountable for what they did, despite, like, if I don't go for this, I go for this other way. It's really interesting, really, really amazing for it. I have the name of the prosecutor. I tried to check if he had some studies about it, but nothing came up. Nothing came up
Okay.
about it. Just that he was kind of concerned, because these companies were very powerful, and he didn't have any security, any people that can give him any kind of safety to him or his team, and that they were being threatened by these companies. I suppose because that's a million, like, company. It's a millionaire company that gets a lot of money from these activities. So he was being threatened and whatnot. And I searched for the lawyer of the company, and the lawyer of the company was uh, it doesn't said what he graduated with, but it says that he is a senior in mining law. So
Okay.
I guess he was kind of like in that field. I guess he would have maybe other things in environmental law, but it didn't said.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, when you was at university, did you see this matter or this subject, like
And not
agricultural
this,
law or agrarian?
and not this. I took a course for mining law. I took one. It was interesting. They teach you about the resources of the Mother Earth, but all those things and some expressions, but nothing related to, like, animals themselves, or like plants or deforestation itself. They were focused more on, like, mining aspects, like rocks, like potential threats when you go into this field. But I had a course last year that was sostenibilidad ambiental, I think,
Hmm?
and they expose me, like they show me this
Environmental
kind of.
hello, hello. Sorry that I
Oh,
interrupt you. Environmental sustainability.
okay, I don't remember much. It was a course that I took last year, but they show me cases like the cacao one, but in other countries, and how it was like, and how it was like really horrible, and that you shouldn't consume from these big companies, especially in Africa and things like that.
Okay.
And also the second one that I read about was how some of these businesses in, for example, Loreto, that it's like in the north of Peru, the jungle part. Um,
Yeah.
Everything that they do, everything that all the chemicals that they use for cacao and everything ends up in the rivers. And this affects
Okay.
directly to people that are natives there, that don't have any contact with other parts of the world or Peru. They didn't talk to anybody but themselves, and they get like poisoned by that water. Their animals get poisoned by that water. Their animals die. Their plants mutate to something that can even be poisonous to them. They have less and less water. People that want them to leave block their access to water. They hunt their animals just for that. They are like, they kind of are making them leave. They are forcing them to leave by taking all their resources, and everything is for like these businesses like cacao, deforestation ones that they sell the wood and whatever. So this I've seen that, and that for me is more directed to agricultural law, because it talks more like about the plants themselves, about how plants like cacao plants can be really damaging for an environment, not only because they grow there, and when they grow there they take whatever from other plants, but also because who come to these places to have that cacao destroy what is left. They destroy and contaminate the water, and they destroy the trees. And by destroying those two things, you make people that live around this place to leave, because why are you gonna live near a place that you don't have any water, any plants, and your animals are not gonna live there either, and wild animals are not going to live there either because there's no sources. So they are destroying that part, and they are destroying not only for people like me that are in the capital, but for people that live there, that are natives, that they own those lands, or that lands that are protected by law, but they still do it because there is not many people that go there and do periodical checkings. So they still keep doing these kind of things till someone might pay attention to it and be like, oh, there's something wrong. Like this case, someone finally noticed that something was wrong, and they took this company accountable, and that's why they end up like 4 or 5 years in jail each person. And I think one of them escaped, and it's not found yet. So it's
Okay.
somewhere around the world that we don't know where it is. And the 15 million compensation, but that's not enough. That's not enough for
Yeah.
the damage they have done.
Okay. Interesting. Did you maybe check the profiles of the lawyers that had worked in this case?
Yeah, as I said, I looked for the prosecutor, but didn't found much
Yeah.
about him. Just that he was like kind of recent at the
But no
moment.
more.
And the other guy that was from the company, but he was into mining law, but nothing more than that. The
Nothing
profiles were
with
not
agricultural law.
no, nothing related to it.
Okay. Do you think that maybe we are like maybe maybe we don't have the conscience about to understand that this is a really important matter at law and that maybe we should like pay more attention? Or do you think that it's okay, like in your case, from your experience in your university, was enough the information that you received in this matter of law?
I think that the info is not enough. I have a teacher that was very passionate about like these topics, so she will constantly make me look for things. Like for my final exam, I had to expose a case, I have to read about new cases, I have to share news about it. So she was really into it, so I could open to this field that I think no one has previously shown to me, because it's
Mhm.
more like I think they close their mind more to money and what money can do, instead of like um do this kind of law, like who protects the earth? Because if you think about it, like it's easy to be like okay, no companies, we don't want any companies, companies can't do anything, but that's not also helpful. There is no enemies here. If things are well done, if things are, if you have permissions that are well regulated, if you have periodical checkings, if you have things that these companies have to do to be able to, for example, use some kind of land in some kind of way, then things will be fine. You won't hurt the economy and you won't hurt Mother Earth. But if you just make the restrictions too much restrictions, then they will be like, okay, it's easier to do this illegally because no one is going to
Yeah.
come to, no one is going to come and tell me something because no one wants to get involved in this. And if they do, I can just give them money from the money that I make doing this illegally, which is, I assume it's more than the
As expense. It's one expense of the business. That's it.
okay, I mean, I can do all these papers and hard restrictions that these people are asking for me to do, or I just pay like some kind of money to this guy that might come check my business. They might.
Yeah.
There's not even like a reassurance that this person is gonna show up. They might, and if they might, okay, what do you want? $2,000? That's fine. So you don't do any bothering here. So I see how, like, for these companies it's really easy to think that, okay, let's do this illegally, let's just do it illegally. So I think what needs to change is the concept of working collaboratively. It's not about restrictions, it's not about being open either, because then everyone is going to be like, I want that land, I want that land, I want that land. It's not about that, but it's about doing something that is flexible for the size of the company, for the business that they're trying to do, so that people are inclined to do this in a good way, in a legal way, in a way that we can regulate them, in a way that it doesn't look like we are being too harsh on them or too loose on them.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for your intervention and for all your speech. Was like really interesting. I will please ask you that you fill the survey.
Here. Okay.
Is that
Send
now
it.
it's on? Okay. Thank you so much. And please enjoy your weekend. Continue working in your room. And I will see you soon next week,
Okay.
hopefully, if I continue live.
Thank
Bye bye.
you.
Have a nice weekend. Bye bye. Vanessa, hello, how are you? Hello, hello. Vanessa, ¿hay alguien aquí? Hello, how are you?
I'm so sorry, I was doing another thing, so I think it was early. I'm so sorry.
No worries, it's okay. And we will start in 1 minute, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
there's no problem.
No, but you are the next one, right?
Yes.
Okay, no, we'll start right now.
Okay.
So Vanessa, how are you?
I'm fine, teacher. Thank you so much. And you?
Yes, I'm so good. Thank you so much also. Okay, so which case? Siempre me cuesta esto. Ya lo he dicho 3 veces o 4 veces la pregunta y se me retraba la lengua. Which case did you choose? And yeah, let me know about it.
Well, I couldn't decide some specific case because I was reading a lot and I don't know too much about well, the agrarian sector.
Yeah.
So I decided to choose my favorite chapter in the history of Bolivia. That is was
Okay.
the agrarian reform of the law
Mhm.
in I don't know which year was. Well,
Which?
I think in 52. I'm not pretty sure. I think 52, 53 could be. But it was really
Okay.
important and well, I really love that story because I think it was absolutely necessary to reorganize our state and especially for start to watch in a real way the human rights for everyone, not just for people who live in cities.
Okay, but sorry that I just checked my headphones and I lose the name. Can you please repeat it?
I choose the agrarian reform.
Okay, perfect. What do you want to discuss? Which part was important for you, and why do you think that is important to discuss it today?
Well, I'm so sorry. Well, for me, the most important thing that this revolution or reform
Mm-hmm.
was because in Bolivia there is something that is called latifundio. I don't know how to say
Mm-hmm.
this in English.
Sí, no puede ser like lands because we are talking about farmlands.
Okay, farmlands.
Farmlands.
Farmlands. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I understood. So it was really complicated for people who live in country. For example, you can walk in the central square, for example, if you
Mm-hmm.
are not wearing in a good way. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're wearing a traditional costume of some countrysides, you can walk. So you are a farmer, you are a, well, campesino, I don't know how to say this, and this is not properly to do some things for that person. So it was for
Okay.
me it's really rude because well well in that time people are not realizing that your skin and the color of your skin is not giving you more rights than others, or the capacity for example to write and read, it is not just like that. So it was a
Mm-hmm.
really big discrimination, and only 30% of all the person or all the people who lives in Bolivia become from the cities, and the other 70%
Yeah, you can
is
also say
from the
like the
country.
people that belongs to the rural sector, but also you can say farmers,
Okay, farmers.
like more general. But I am wondering to know if you are talking about some indigenous discrimination also?
Well, it comes together. It was
Okay.
something that comes together because, for example, if you live in country, you can vote in the elections. You can vote for in any case. So the only right for voting that you have is for your own authorities. So I think that is was really bad. But even though it was not just like that. Well, in any case, it was farmland. You have to, well, there were lots of piece of land, could I say that, that is really big. And well, when some person is selling that land and another is buying that, well, you have to work, still working in that. So it's like a part of the land. The humans, the person, the people is part of the land, and you have to still working in this place because there you have your home, you have your animals that in any case all those animals are not yours. So you
Mm-hmm.
are working for another one just for have the right to live in there. So it was really hard, and it was really, I think, annoying for a lot of people because 70% of the people from Bolivia, the Bolivians, lives, bueno, are farmers. So it was really good for me when I started to read this when I was studying in the school. Well, for me, it was well, a lot of time for to silence for all the people. There were a lot of people who don't have any right because even now we have some problems to for some little village in the country for give them some water, ni hablar de internet. For water, for
Okay.
example, electricity or basic services. So it was really hard, even it's really hard even now. So I can imagine how it was in that time.
Yeah.
So when people try to migrate to city for
Yeah.
try to achieve some things or
Yeah.
studying something because you don't have any access to any kind of studying in those villages, so they suffer lots of discrimination. It was not
Okay.
just for me. So when I realized that it was it was a really hard because most of them, for not saying that all of them, don't know
Mhm.
anything about writing or reading. They never know how was their rights, and even the law make a really big
Okay.
difference
How
for
ask, sorry that I interrupt you. Here I have something for correct.
huh?
How they can ask for the respect of their rights or
I,
ask for protection. Ask for como pedir protección, como solicitar protección, que creo que es lo que quieres decir.
uh-huh.
Ask for protection of asks for the protection of their rights.
Okay.
Okay? And now you can continue.
Okay. Well, after that, after those time, when it was really hard to survive in the countries with no
Mhm.
access to any service, started a really big revolution because they start to make some organizations,
Mhm.
kind of I can't remember really good the name. Maybe could be. Sindicato, syndicate could be.
¿A qué te refieres? Como, pero no era un tema. Lo que pasa es que el sindicato lo utilizamos más para el derecho laboral.
Well, here we
Como, you can say like, ¿qué vas a decir después?
aquí los sindicatos se utilizan para, o sea, es un tipo de organización para proteger ciertos
Ujú.
derechos. Entonces,
Ok.
no necesariamente tiene que ser laboral, porque aquí en Bolivia hay mucha gente,
Ajá.
¿cómo se dice?, del comercio informal.
Ujú.
Entonces, en general, los sindicatos se arman de gremiales, por ejemplo, en mercados,
Ok.
algún tipo de organización social que necesite
Ok.
proteger sus derechos de forma laboral independiente también.
Ok. Okay, perfect. You can talk about unions.
Unions, perfect.
Ujú.
So they started
And
to.
if you are talking, y si estás hablando como sindicatos para discriminar los sectores, labor unions or commercial unions or, I
Okay.
don't know, bankers unions, si es el gremio de
Oh,
los banqueros.
okay.
¿Sí?
Well, that's
Solamente
really
le colocas,
okay.
cambias la palabra y ya está. Listo.
Okay, they started to make some unions, but really good organized, and they started to make a war, kind of war, because I think if some people don't ask for their rights with really in a really strange force, well, it is going to be really hard for someone to be listened, to be heard. So in that way, I think it's necessary sometimes make a revolution, and then started the revolution. And after that, there is a partido político. I don't know how to say that.
You can say just about politics
Well,
or, yeah,
polit-
political group.
yes, it was a political group called MNR. That means a revolutionary nationalist movement, something like this.
Mhm,
And well, they started to fight for the rights of everyone, and they reordered the law, and then we have the agrarian reform law
mhm,
that was born, I think, in I can remember the year, but I think could be 100, 1953 or 52. I'm not pretty sure.
okay,
But in that year was born that law that erased it all the farmlands, as you told me. Once minutes more, again before. So it was really important for me. It was valuable, and then they started to reorganize these lands. So the most important thing that I remember since school is the land is for the people who's working in. So
yeah,
if I am the owner, but I am not paying a salary to the people who are working in there, the land is going to be they for their own. So I think that is it was really important because most of these people used to work all their lives just paying the space on they are working and how can I explain this and living. So I
yeah.
think
Como los caseritos, los caseros, creo que.
exactly something like
Ujú,
this. So I think. mm we don't well here in Bolivia people who live in city don't know how important are the people who live in countries. So for
ujú,
example, the farmers, they give us all the things that we met. So if we don't appreciate this activity, well, we had to import some things to the other countries, and most of
from, from.
from another countries, and
Ujú,
most of them don't have the same culture as us, and they are using, by the way, some chemical formulas and another kind of I don't know how to say granos.
sí,
Exactly. So that means it is not as nutritive as our meal is. So I think we have to appreciate this because even though it's more expensive, so we have a
okay.
really nutritive things here, and we are don't watching this as is correct. I think.
Vanessa, do you saw the or did yeah, do you saw at university some subjects about agrarian law or agricultural law?
Yes, I saw this.
Okay, and how was it?
Well, it was cruel and rude because all the studies about agrarian movement
Mhm,
involves this revolution. So everything starts, not everything, but most of thing talking about the law start here because we have a really rude history talking about how revolution was going, talking even though about the revolution and all those things. So it was kind of rude because it was necessary. So I learned lots of things, especially from INRA law, that it was really important to me. But I think it's a little bit complicated because it mixed um, the originary law with a
Yeah.
constitutional law. So it's
Yeah.
a kind of mix between both of them. So I think could be really interesting, and it's necessary for this because if you are an agrarian lawyer, you have to try at least to speak in Quechua. So I think
Okay.
this could be a little bit harder because it's
Hmm.
necessary. So you're going to treat with a lot of people who became from country. So that is really important to me.
Okay. Thank you so much for all your appreciation. And I will see you the next week. Before you leave, I will please ask you that you fill the survey. And for me, it's so valuable that you take something related with history. And it's something that I can see it on the streets. Maybe in Tarija, not too much. In Potosí and La Paz was the cities that they were the cities, sorry, that I can figure out how it's mixed all the farmers and the city, and how even in this century we can see a lot of discrimination.
Yes.
And it's really hard the situations that they get because they work until the final days of their lives without a lot of rights that they should have.
Yes, that's
And
really.
I saw my best friend. I get a picture. My best friend in Potosí was a really old woman, and she worked it like all their lives. It's just a huge family, but she is the older one, and his daughter died. So was like now she's alone. Basically, I get like a portrait of her. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh yeah. Oh, so cute.
Yeah, she was my best friend in Potosí because for so many months I took the decision. I was trying to figure out what to do, if go back or continue in this country, because I feel like alone and so insecure because my medical secure didn't cover COVID, and
Oh,
they didn't let me apply by this time because I didn't have like my papers. I was just a tourist and I cannot apply for my. I was so confused.
yeah.
So she was my friend, and she always let me see how is her life. And
Mm.
it's like, of course, if you are living day by day, it's no way that you can save money or try to get a best
Yes,
future. It's
and
no
their
way.
bodies are really hard. They work every day and they work with their bodies, and their work is hard to do. They do
Yeah,
everything by hand, so it's hard.
yeah, and it's just for the day
Ex-
that you didn't go out, you didn't eat. So it's like,
Exactly. So it's really hard for most of people, especially in north of Potosi. The
yeah,
situation is a little bit rude. It's more rude, I think. It's ruder, I think.
yeah, yeah.
So,
But then also, I come from other cities like the one that I am, and I
mhm,
can see how they have a lot of money.
yes.
And I ask, and it's why? Oh no, just gas and corruption. In your face, I told you why they have like here. I saw like more economical power than in Potosi. Even when in Potosi you can find more money because everybody tells me like the inside of the houses they are like so rich, but from the outside it's not so privileged. You're just so normal. But here in Tarija you can find like really, really, really nice houses, and everybody told no, just gas, or just my family have been in power or like in political power for centuries.
Exactly. And so some works, well, if you are not painting your face with a political color, it's really hard to find a really good job here. So
Yeah,
that is really frustrating. But there are people like me or my friends, for example, that when we are studying two careers, we are trying to become polyglot. So, but for what? Because you might know nothing about anything, don't have any professional for a professional way. But if you are the favorite one of some political person, you will achieve this. So it's
Yeah.
kind of frustrating, of course, because
Yeah.
power they are
You don't
not.
have to wait to feel sorry. You just continue creating your way
Mhm.
and try it. I don't want to put like more information that I can, but sometimes some places are not for us.
Exactly.
So we just need to change our minds and try to looking for other places. I know that is so hard, but
But sometimes necessary even.
yeah, sometimes because for most that you want, you don't will change the system.
No, it's
No
it's
way. And will be like more frustrating every time that you continue getting older and you can't, or maybe you can like start your stability and then the political stuff change and then you are done. You can take
Mhm.
advantage for that for a while, save money and then leave or try to do something. But opportunities are always there. So
Yes,
you will find it.
not
No
here.
worries.
You're going to find another
Yeah.
thing in your places.
Yeah. It's the same as my country. And then we have all these migration situation, maybe not in our countries too much, like between us, but as you can see, like a lot of professionals from Europe, Canada, doing something so technical because they didn't find like the opportunity for continue growing in a professional way. And then they become a lawyers or lawyers did just example. And after years and after all this for they start to find the opportunities that they were trying to looking for in these countries, but there. So
Exactly.
no worries.
I think there are a lot of countries or places where where most of people are looking for people who is really I who really studying for something, who is really prepared. So if it's not here, we're going to find something in another place where all our knowledge is valuable. So I think it's going. We are in the good way.
Yeah. Can understand. Okay, Vanessa, thank you so much. I would really enjoy continue talking about, but
I
I am
know,
missing 6 minutes.
I know.
And I will see you the next week. Thank you so much for your time. Bye
Okay,
bye.
thank you too.
Okay, thank you. Thanks to you. Bye bye. Silvana, hello, how are you? I always start late with you.
Oh, well, I'm
Sorry.
good.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm very good. You good?
Yeah, fine. Yes, everything is good. I'm trying to drink more water. I am just drinking so much Coke. Okay, Silvana. So let me know about which topic did you choose? Maybe some articles, some aspects, or a part of the history or process, final decision. And after that, we will start to discuss it a little bit.
Okay, I found a case about Milpuk, that is a district in the Amazon region, which produce a lot of coffee, cacao, rice, corn, a lot of things, a lot of products that have they export actually to Brazil, to a lot of places, and they had a problem in 2010 because of the raining. They rains a lot. They had to
Yeah.
put a channel for the
Yes.
river because if not, the all the culture will be a mess, will be destroyed. Um, in some place called Rinconada, there is a huge field with 24 owners. The state tried to expropriate that land,
Okay.
but they didn't. Well, so we have a process, I mean a procedure in the constitution and also in law. To do this, you have to put this expropriation in a law for the parliament, and you have to give a fair price. But they didn't do it. It was kind of corruption there because it was so fast, and they started working in this land. But one of the owners that see that this was so unfair, because the procurator tried to do it everything very fast. So they appeal this expropriation, because it wasn't even in a document. They didn't have evidence to say this is illegal. I mean, we're with the law like that. So they did all this process, and one of the owners won the case. The final decision was that the state or the region there had to give indemnification for this owner, about like 1 million, because the damage was irreparable, because this land was also for agricultural activities.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I found here today.
Okay, perfect. Can you check it maybe some profiles of some lawyers
Yeah,
that maybe are involved in this case?
yes, the name of the lawyer of the owner was Conrado Mori, and he is a lawyer for Catholic University, and also had a master degree in constitutional and crime law.
Okay, nothing about agrarian or agriculture. Okay, yeah, perfect. Some of human rights maybe in constitutional, but not too much.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was not that related.
Yeah, and which other profile, like academic profile, maybe one that represents the states, or
there I tried to look for the name of the prosecutor, but there wasn't an inform that says
maybe it's reserved.
Yeah, I guess, because it was only the prosecutor of this region, nothing else.
Okay. Silvana, let me know if maybe at junior or in your university when you were studying, did you see some aspects or subjects about human rights, environmental rights, or law, agricultural or agrarian law?
Of course, we have human rights. We have like 2 courses about it.
Yeah.
Then I had one course last year that it's sustainable development law. Yeah, which is of environmental and the objectives of what's the name? The objectives of the millennium. I don't know the name.
Yeah.
Then they were 8 and now they're 17. So we talk about a lot of environmental and this test of environmental impact with these activities of, I don't know, whatever when saying agricultural or the weather. It wasn't one topic.
Climate change.
Like pollution. Yeah, climate change. Yeah, that stuff.
Okay, but nothing with agrarian, or just maybe a little bit?
Oh, they mentioned like agrarian, that topic, that we have this connection between the Department of Agriculture and Department of Environment, that they have to look for and check periodically with how they're working in our fields, but nothing like a main topic.
Okay. I want to know your opinion about agricultural law. Do you think that maybe needs more attention on law studies? Or how do you think that is like working your government from one administrative way for regulates or for oversees all these relationships? Do you think that is enough?
No.
Because it's really important, and let me know your opinion.
No, actually, we need to have more courses in law, or maybe, of course, we have this environment engineering careers, but as a course to be a lawyer, we don't have. And for me, it's important because it's one of the economy is gonna work with agricultural activities also. Right now, it's the first proof that I have that I experienced this pandemic. Agricultural activities.
Yeah, you die.
Yeah.
You die.
Yeah, if you don't have this, you're not gonna have what to eat, or we're not going to have anything to eat.
Yes,
For
we
me,
should
it's
talk more
important
about this.
to defend these people that work every day in the fields, that it's a hard work. I don't have like relatives in this topic, but
Yeah,
or
me
maybe
neither.
movies or articles, I know how hard it is.
Mhm.
They should be more represented. Actually, they're important part of our, I don't know, our increase in our budget to do some schools, some hospitals. Even if in that places we don't have a good space to develop. Also, we had like 3 or 4 months ago a regime, and a special regime for these workers, for agricultural workers, that was so unfair, and the corporations there didn't allow them to develop themselves better. They have a salary like $30 per day, and it wasn't. It was so unfair because we can have as a salary like 1,000 or 2,000, and they just didn't have enough to live.
Yeah,
We have a
that is
lot
the
to
base.
do.
I want that we discuss that
Mhm.
because that is economy. So I want that we try to talk. I will take notes because then I will forget it.
Mhm.
I want that we discuss that in our next session because it's so important. It's the base of this subject, of this specific subject,
Mhm.
and I guess that we have like the same troubles.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. We have similar activities that are fell apart from
Yeah,
the plans of the
maybe.
government.
Yeah, maybe all these agro businesses and farms and all these livestock market
Mhm.
are strongest in Brazil and Argentina.
Yeah.
They have like a huge industry about it, and um, more than in Colombia, maybe we are more focused in the mines and all the extraction processes, and then all the attentions belongs to this. We have like some departments on my country that we can find like farmers and etc. But then all these agricultural sector are like so focused in how we can work with royalties and investors, and the politicians sell it like, oh, it's the best business that we can do. Just give us the 5% about all the extraction.
Yeah.
And of course, there is a lot of money, but isn't enough in comparison with all the damages.
Mhm.
So I want that we discuss because we have the same troubles even at Costa Rica or etc.
Yeah.
Okay, Silvana, thank you so much for your time.
Thank
Before you
you.
leave, the survey, please. And I will see you the next
I
week.
did it.
Okay, thank you. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Maria, hello, how are you?
Hi, Gali. How are you? I'm doing good.
I'm good, thank you so much. Okay, so let me know which case did you choose, why? Maybe it's a process, a part of the history, a final decision, and yeah, tell me about it. Then after that, I will do some questions.
Okay. Well, actually, I had two cases in mind. One is
Okay.
from my country, and the other one is from Argentina. Because I really like this case because I think it was the first case that the Inter-American Court resolved about environmental issues, and it was a really good case. And actually, it's not really old; it's very new. And well, this is a development about this right, and I really like this case. But first of all, I'm going to comment, and if we have time, we maybe I will tell you a little bit about the Argentina's case.
Perfect.
Here in Peru, we have an indigenous group called the Nahuas, with almost 300 people. and they are originally from the Peruvian jungle, and they've been
Yeah.
suffering for mercury contamination. All of this
Oh,
is about the Camisea project that is related to a gas project. For these issues, some organizations made their own investigations about it, and they found some deep problems of the Nahua's health. They also found that the river that they used to drink water and feed their livestock was very
yeah.
contaminated. And they not only get sick because of the water, they were drinking, sorry, they also get sick because the animals and the livestock that they had were drinking that water as well. And they
Yeah.
ate those animals. And if we analyze some international obligations that the state of Peru has, and not only Peru, a lot of states have. According to the Inter-American Court, an Inter-American Court resolution, that is the case Yaka Honhat, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it well, association, we have some obligations that we need to follow to prevent, like this means like do good audits from Peru. So these kind of cases um, don't happen here. To cooperate, it means good negotiations and prior consultation to this population. Proceedings obligations like have access to some information so they could know about what is going on with this project. And if they want, they could have, I don't know, a
Position.
process, yes, about it.
And they speak about these indigenous communities. They speak Spanish.
No, that is a really good question. I didn't start thinking about that.
No, no
I
worries.
didn't search about it, but
No worries.
I think there's a big possibility that, well, actually, obviously, Spanish is not their language, but
Of
because
course.
they actually are like very deep in the jungle,
Yeah.
so it's not their language. I'm pretty sure about it. Maybe some of them speak Spanish, but not all of them. That's something that I'm really sure about it, but I'm not very sure if all of them speak Spanish, but some of them,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Precautionary principle also means that if you don't have enough scientific proofs, and if you know that the damage of the environment and what is going to happen in the people who live in this environment will
Mhm.
be really, really big, so you don't need the project. You don't need, and you don't do the project, even if you don't have enough scientific proofs. But if you, this doesn't mean that you don't have any proof. It means that you don't have the necessary proofs, but you know the damage is going to be really big if you continue with this project. So this is something that we hadn't have a solution yet. We're working on it. Well, I think this case is really related to the Argentina's case because it have like similar kind of issues. But I think the Argentina case is more related to agricultural law, or well, not exactly agricultural law, but it's related to the vocabulary that we saw in agricultural law.
Okay. Perfect. Did you check maybe some profiles of the lawyers that are involved in this case?
I didn't find the lawyers.
Mhm.
There's an organization.
Okay.
I DECEP.
Okay.
It's kind of tricky, the name. Yes, the name is IDECEP organization, and they are fighting for the Nahuas rights.
Okay. No worries. I want to know, Maria, what do you think about the importance or the impact that in this moment we can refer to this AG law?
Sorry,
What is your opinion about the importance of this area of law
I think it's really important.
or impact or the
Well,
consequences?
I think I have been talking a little more about environmental law. I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, it's okay because one is inside of the other, right? Agrarian, agricultural law are inside of environmental law. But it's like also connected because of the rights that we are talking about. We are talking about the basics ones. We're talking about life, water, nature, food. So it's okay. That is the plan, and we will discuss like this difference when we arrive to environmental law. That is a really, really important matter for me. I am like so involved in this area, and especially with indigenous communities. So for me, the topic is
Yes, you
perfect.
told us that your parents have been working with a lot of indigenous communities
Yeah,
before, and you
that
have
is my
been
matter.
growing up with all of this, so that's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
Well, for me, this is really important. First of all, we are protecting a group of people that maybe they don't have the same possibilities as other people,
yeah,
other groups.
yeah.
Secondly, I think, well, I heard a professor of economics in
Mhm.
law the other day that he said you can have a solution to most of these problems if you give property rights, but clearly property rights. For example, sometimes here in Peru, I don't know how's this going in Colombia or in Bolivia, but here in Peru, yes, they have their land, but for example, if you find, I don't know, some minerals on the land, or what else, gas, as this case, the state could tell you, well, we are going to expropriate
Yeah,
this this from you
land.
and this is not longer be yours. It's going to be from the state, and obviously the state is going to pay you something for this. But
Yeah,
obviously, these people don't want this. It's part of their land, it's part of their culture, it's part of them, it's where they are living. So this professor told us, but imagine if you give them really good property rights without this possibility. If the gas there, if they find gas there, if they find some minerals there, are not longer from the state, inside of that are from them, what do you think it's going to happen? And I was thinking about it, and he said, well, what is going to happen is maybe some of them are going to go into this of activity. They are going to develop themselves in this kind of activities. Some of them maybe not. Maybe they will prefer to do another thing inside of this. But this is like kind of activities that are um, very good in economics, and obviously it's going to give you a really big benefit. So some of them maybe they are going to sell their land because they want to do it, and they
yeah,
are going to have the money for that. So
yeah.
you
But in my case, in
sorry.
Colombia, no, no worries. It's that just are making me think about it. And in Colombia, I told you that we have like different kind of violence, right? We have like some parts of the state can't cover some specific places. And sometimes when you find like, that is like a huge topic, but basically if your community didn't have connection with the exterior, or with some cities, or with other people, and maybe they just speak their language, they don't even take care about that. If they don't have internet, they don't care about how the gold is and now in stock market. They don't care. But if someone see this, they start to take advantage, and I know a lot of cases where we are talking about different, maybe sometimes it's the army, maybe sometimes are some dissident groups, and they just kill them, forget the land, even when you didn't understand why some of these territories are really important for them, because all the ancestral rights, and they have
Mhm.
their places where they can connect with God, with their gods. And if you believe that your mother earth is like the water, or the moon or etc. If someone you have like a really sacramental space for you and for your family, and if someone goes against that, they will try to defend it, but no for the reason that we are believing. And it's like really important. One thing that I will talk about when we speak about indigenous communities is how to defend their territory without like that permission of they didn't. I know a lot of communities in Colombia that they didn't allow that one lawyer start a process because for their knowledge, like for their ancestral knowledge, they kind of understand how this will finish, and if they can see like some pain, because in Colombia they kill a lot of human rights defenders. They prefer like lose some spaces, but don't lose the life of the one that want to defend them. And this is something that changed my mind completely, because for them, all these selfish structures that we know didn't exist. For they are a family. We are a family, and if for something that is not valuable, we will lose one of us, even when you are not from that community, it's not important. So the perception of the world is really different, and you have to be so careful when you want to interrupt this balance, even when you are really trying to defend them. That can influence in the balance that they have and that they know. Sometimes they didn't want just a property paper about the land. They just want that um, they can continue doing their life. But it's something that we didn't understand as a society, right? And all the consequences. For example, one of the most strongest communities in Colombia in the north, they have the place just in the place where the rivers comes to the sea, and they have a lot of contamination. And this isn't their fault. They need to manage that inside of the community, but it's fault basically for all the country, because the process of contamination starts in the middle of the country and then finish there. But also we are coming like all of the contamination of these countries. So sometimes we didn't understand that we are really connected. And this area for me is the basic. We need to start from there. We need to understand the collective rights for go to the particular ones. And we didn't understand it like that. Before you leave, I want to ask you, Maria, if you saw and for how long did you saw this area at your university?
For how long? Oh, I think it was just one semester, the last one that I
Okay.
had. Yeah,
Okay, but was environmental, right?
sorry, no, it was not that. It was sustainability law.
Okay, but you talk about agrarian law or agricultural.
No, we haven't seen agrarian law.
Okay,
Never in our lives.
okay. So this is like, now that's why we are not working. Now that it's really interesting topic, because for me it's one of the basics, and because you maybe will never in your life as a professional, maybe you will never have contact with some international commerce structure, or something like so corporative world with patents and all that stuff. But obviously, all the days of your life, you will have contact with food and someone in
Yeah.
another part of the world are producing it. So it's a topic really interesting, and I'm so glad that we are like discussing it. And I want that for the next like class or next lesson, you tell us a little bit about the case that you study for the Inter-American Court of Human Rights, because that topic is, yes, that topic is really interesting for me, and that we start to make a little discussion from that case, and yeah, that we start to understand how the court protected. Maybe we can find like all the data from the resolution.
I have
That is just, yeah, that is like 2 pages, and we have like
yeah.
the
I could
resume.
well I think before the other class, I could give you my resume, or if you want me, I can send it right now, because I have like a 2 pages resume, because it was like a homework for us. Actually, I think Gabriela, Silvana, and Lale, they did the same homework, so I'm pretty sure they will know a lot about this case.
Okay, perfect. And will be so interesting. If you want, you can send it to the group, and I want to try to manage it, like how we can make a really interesting dynamic, and how we can learn from that as a base, and then start and focus it on, because we saw like the general. I want to give like an international perspective, and then I want to speak like the cases happens this, and we can protect it like this. So for me, it's really interesting and important. That is my field, not agrarian, but yes, environmental. I have been working in this for years, and for me, it's like really important. Maybe that you can start to learn from my experience, because in this area, this is my area, this one and criminal law. Okay, Maria, thank you so much. Before you leave, I will please ask you everything, the same thing that I do always. Can you please fill it?
Okay, did it.
Thank
Thank you,
you so
Kali.
much. Thanks to
Bye-bye.
you. Okay, bye-bye. Hello, Gabriela.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine.
How is everything
Friday.
going? Yes, finally. How is everything going?
Everything okay, I think.
Yes, perfect.
Yes. Vacations is going to the finish.
Yeah, that is so good. So tell me, Gabriela, which case did you choose? Why? Maybe an article, a final decision, or a
I
really
think
interesting
I did
process?
a wrong homework. I don't know
Why?
if this is okay because I understand for a environmental agricultural problem.
Hmm?
So I found a final decision
Yeah.
uh, between O E if A, que is well, in Spanish is organismo de evaluación y fiscalización ambiental.
Hmm?
I don't know. I don't know if all Latin America or it's only in Peru.
Only in Peru.
Only Peru. That's okay. So, um, this um, this entity have um, the power to supervise the areas anytime when they want, or so this is a problem with the minery company.
Yeah.
The name is Yanacocha. It's very popular.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is between a minery company and a place here in Peru called Cajamarca. I don't
Yeah.
know if yeah, it's a problem between us because OEFA has the power to go every that they want to supervise the the place that they use. So when the problem is the obstruction of environmental control between the mineral company and this entity,
Yeah.
have three problems because the majority of time the in general the mineral companies offers to the entity OIFA to pay everything that they pays everything for they go and that, but in that case the entity don't okay doesn't say it como que we are going to supervise. So when they stay in the when they stay between of the door, I think they say, oh no, this is my private property, and you like come here, you doesn't come here. So they have three problems, que that they prohibited him to entering. The other problem is they have a special way that the water treatment, and the other there was an overstore away from the side home without giving with the correct treatment. So with this problem, the OEFA has a 32. I don't know how to say it.
¿Qué quieres decir?
Penalty free.
Ya.
O sea, the name here is UIT.
Multa.
Multa, not penalty free. Multa for this.
No, it's free. It's fee. Penalty fee.
Penalty
Perfect.
fee. Penalty fee. Como que say 32 UIT. Every UIT is for 4,300. So it's too much for 32. It's a lot of problem.
Okay.
So it's everything that I can read for that
Okay.
final decision.
Okay, so you didn't check like who is the lawyer?
Yes. The name is it's a external lawyer. Isn't a lawyer from the company. His name is Luis Pigatti.
Okay, and do you find maybe their like profile?
Yes, he
Like
has a
professional profile.
Yes, he always worked in mineral companies, all from to
Yes.
1999. Yes, from actually he always worked in mineral companies.
Yeah. And do you think you are agree with mine or no? What is your opinion?
With that decision?
No, with the extractions.
How extraction? I don't know.
¿Tú estás de acuerdo con las extracciones en las minas? O sea, ¿estás de acuerdo con este sector de la economía?
The principal activity in Peru is mineral. So if they have the correct treatment protect, I think it's okay, because I say it again, mineral is the principal activity here in Peru.
Okay, but do you think that is correct? Like, I mean, do you think that is ethic? What is your opinion? Even we will like put out of our mind that is the main activity of the economic development in your country. We just discussed, do you think that is correct that we do it as a human beings? Like from the human beings and as a humans that we do this kind of process or no?
In general, no, because here exists many of informality in Peru. The majority of companies don't have a care about the uniform on everything. I think that the company is so selfish because they prefer to have a lot of earnings that the care of the people.
Mhm.
It is more too much
Okay.
information.
Yeah, I know. But do you think that this is like a really bad consequence for the environment, or do you think that is necessary for continue like development?
Or it is so come on. The connection is
Hello again?
high. Yeah,
No,
now
no worries. I was telling you, yeah, I was telling you that. Do you think that if we put out the money, do you think that we need these kind of things for continue with the development of our society?
oh my god, so difficult. Um, no, I think no because uh, only take important for example in that case when the entity come to supervise in that moment they only take care and after they not.
Okay, can understand. I want that continue in our next lesson. Hopefully, we can start to discuss how is related these both areas of law, like the environmental and agricultural, agrarian, and hopefully mine sector, and we can discuss about their consequences and which one are the solutions and the perspectives in these areas, and we can learn from, of course, each other, and we can discuss it a little bit. So thank you so much for finding this information. And please, before you leave, I will ask you that you fill the survey.
Yes, when I enter that's all.
Okay. And I will see you the next week. Thank you so much and enjoy your weekend. Rest.
Thank you, bye.
Bye. Daisy, how are you? Good night. I cannot listen.
Hi, I'm fine.
Okay, perfect. Did you understand the activity?
Yes,
Okay, perfect. Let me know which information did you find, and we will start to discuss it a little bit.
but I had a problem that I didn't find information about a case, a concrete case about agriculture, but I found a case about, well, environment, but indirect affect the agriculture. So
Okay,
I will
that's
talk
perfect.
about it.
No
Okay,
worries. You're completely free to discuss whatever that you want. Tell
okay.
me, which part did you find interesting and why?
Well, the case is that in 2016, a river in my country in El Salvador was threatened by molness spill. The Environment Ministry announced 3 months of emergency on May of 2016 because, well, many gallons of molyneux
Problem?
was spilled in this molyneux was
Okay.
spilled in the river. It was 250,000 gallons was pulled was spilled, but just 900,000 gallons arrived to the rivers and affecting 4 rivers more and many communities around these 4 rivers. And
I lose your connection.
sorry. My mom was calling me, sorry.
No worries.
This wait.
No worries.
This
You can put pause or put the audio off and tell to your family that are you busy for a couple of minutes.
but well, so um these these things, the moulins, makes that many species on the river die, fishing and etc. etc. And people can drink water of this river, and also they can use this water to agriculture or for animals. And this affect because, well, in a month, almost 2 months, they they were trying to clean the river, and the company was let me see, the Ingenio La Magdalena. They make sugar, so they use molasses to use by subproduct of the sugar. And the company wastes around 2,100 for clean the river and help the families that can work for the river. And the civil lawsuit was filed by the Attorney General of the Republic to the Environmental Court. The demand was about $3.9 million to the company, and they were for fiscal for people that was working in this case. But in internet I didn't find the names of all of them. I just can find one name, the representative of this fiscal, the four fiscal. I just find the representative of them, and it was the name Jose Roman Navarro Quintanilla, and he's higher Bachelor of Legal Science in the University of El Salvador. And he works in many places. He's a prosecutor of judge, he was a prosecutor of judge, and another year he was a specific prosecutor. Another year he was a head of unit in fiscal office. 1 year in one department, Santa Ana, and another year in San Salvador, that is another department. And yes, he just have this bachelor. He don't have a master or something like that, but he was in charge of the fiscal that carry the demand for the company that makes contamination in the rivers.
Okay. Let me know if you think that this kind of studies are like so known. Because with you the process is quite different. So I will change a little bit the question. Do you think that the media, like all the information, all the access that we get to the information that is happening in other countries, respects like all these agricultural issues? How do you know this topic, for example? By the
Well,
news?
yes, when I was killed, because it was like 5 years ago, I was a kid, and this news was many sounds in the news, and many channels, many news were talking about this.
Okay, I will do a little bit of corrections. Channels, channels son los canales. The channels. And the case is so noun. Es como
noun, okay.
Muy conocido.
I didn't find how to
noun,
say it.
Noun. No worries.
So I hear about it in the news, but then I know that in my country we have many problems of agriculture because it's the most, I don't know, the most important for the economy in my country, but is the is the most important for the economic in my country, but is the most poor. I mean, the government don't have the resources to the agriculture, but they can develop and increase the economy. And also, during the Civil War, the government um, prohibits the population to to I don't know, sembrar. Um, I,
Um, to yeah, to make that their fields grown, or maybe
yeah,
that the farmers do their job, or you can also say to espérame, que tengo la punta de la lengua. Continúa hablando, que ya va a
yeah.
salir.
And during the civil war that we had during the years, well, 12 years, the civil war was in 12 years during the 1820 to 1892, and the government, um, how to say it, le quitó las tierras to the people, and
You can say expropriate. The government expropriate, and
expropriated.
and you can say like plant or planting, or they plant. For example, the farmers get some lands for plant potatoes or whatever that you want to say, right?
Yes, in during the Civil War, the most important product of the agriculture was the coffee, but the government expropriated the ground, the fields, and
Or lands.
now,
You can also say lands.
yes, and now even 20 years ago that this happens, 2 years ago the government uh, give the ground to these people, and now we have many problems about agriculture, but in internet you won't find concrete cases or concrete things about it, because I don't know why, but the corruption in my country is high. So many people that is owner this ground now is politicians, people that had many power in the government, so they don't talk about it. They are not with the willingness to give the ground to these people, the land to these people. So many people, even now, don't have the land that they had in the past.
Perfect. And do you believe that someone from the common, someone that maybe never get studies or maybe never went to the university, do you think that people can like have access of all this information or not really?
The information about the
Yeah,
that I
about this
told
kind
you.
of cases. Yes.
No, I really found it in the internet. So
Yeah.
someone that make research in internet can find it. But as I told you, in the internet don't appears the names of the fiscals or all the names that
Prosecutor.
prosecutors.
Prosecutor. Mhm.
Sorry, you won't find the names of all the people involved in this problem, in this kind of problem. You will find one, two names, but not all of the names.
Okay. Perfect. But maybe it's not so much about corruption, but do you think that in your country the people can have access to all this information? Not just for the names, so it's like the people, the common people knows what is happening like in the fields with the lands or with the farmers, or the people don't care. How is your society?
Well, for people that don't makes money with the lands, I don't care. For example, if I work like in the computer, I don't care a land. But people that live with these lands, making product of the lands, they care, but they don't have access to internet, or they don't have a computer. They don't hear about the news, or maybe they they don't they don't want to fight for the files or for their rights about the lands. So it's not about if they um I mean, many people of this kind can access, but another group can't have this information. But the people who really can have this information don't make anything.
Okay, perfect. Okay, Daisy, I want that we discuss this like in the next session. We will start to make difference between all these areas of law. I just want to tell you that maybe you can feel quite lost as in all the areas because you are not a lawyer, but no worries that every time that you need to ask something, just drop me a message on WhatsApp and I will answer you. But basically, I want that you understand all the difference in this world about how the governments makes basically the same things in all the countries and how this affects the human rights and how this affects the communities and how this affects the societies. Because if you can make the difference between the influence about politicians and how this can affect you as a country, maybe you will start to think quite different and you start to be like more objective in your decisions, even when you will become a lawyer, right? Because this is like something that from my point of view, this is the base of the society. As I told you in the lesson yesterday, you can live without buying clothes every day, but you cannot live without eat. So you need to respect the rights from the people that are working on it. Because if that people, they didn't have some opportunities for continue improving their lifestyle, then the consequences will be harder every time for our nations because it's not fair that someone it's not fair, sorry, that someone are working like 15 hours per day until they die because they work until 90 or 95 years. So something is quite wrong. We need to oversee it. We need to check it and to understand the situation. And for this, you didn't like need a lot of hard concepts of law. You just need to start to develop your common sense and how you perceive yourself in this world, right? And especially in your country. And these kind of accidents with petroleum, oil, and a lot of chemicals happens in my country all the time, and it's quite normal for us. We didn't. That was my question about the society and how it's this movement work. Because in our society, it's quite normal. We saw it like normal. Oh yes, other accident. That's it. We didn't give that case the relevance that the case needed, and the people don't make a position. The people can't be like objective in front of these really hard situations, right? So that was my plan for the lesson of today and for this little speaking call. You know that our time is done. So before you leave, I will please ask you that you fill the should be, and I will see you the next week.
Okay, bye. I did it
Okay,
already.
perfect. Hello, Laura. How are you? I cannot listen.
Sorry, I silenced it by mistake. How are you?
Yeah, no worries. I am good. How are you?
I'm good. I can't find my water. I saw it with water, and I'm like, where's my water?
Yes, I'm trying to leave the Coke. It's really hard.
It's here.
I don't like too much like drink it alone, but I need it.
You
Okay.
you like Coke? Okay.
Yeah, I am.
Oh yeah, I love it. I'm addicted. I thought you didn't
Yes.
like it.
Yeah, me too. No, I'm an addict. But it's really bad for health. And I was like seeing some videos, and it's like, oh, okay, I will start to do a detox, and I started drinking water. But I just put it close to me, and this is my goal. I want to finish today.
Yeah, good. That's great. I rather this bottle that is just 1 liter. ¿Cómo se dice litro?
Little.
Yeah, it's a little bit more. If it helps you, it feels like you're drinking more water when you're holding this one.
Yeah.
I tried to.
This is just at home. I am not doing nothing more. I do go for walks and blah, but I can't have it like all time with me, and I just feel it, and I am trying. It's hard. It's really hard for me.
Yeah.
You'll
get used
suffering.
to it. I did the same this year. That was one of my goals for the year. Stop drinking so much Coke, and I'm kind of making it.
It's really hard, and especially because here is so cheap and it's simple. If you buy fruits, then you have to do the juice, and it's. But if you buy it, it's ready, and it's like, oh, we don't have nothing for drink. Let's go for a Coke. It's like more or less that dynamic that we are working on this. But okay, let me know if you have time for check some article or final decision or process. What did you find online? And we will start to discuss about it.
Okay, I decided to talk about tipness today. I'm sure you heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
And no? Oh, this is gonna be good. It's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so tipness is means it's like how do you say acronym? Like an acronym for Territorio Indígena y Parque Nacional Isiboro-Securé. It's a huge jungle that is in Bolivia between Cochabamba and Beni. And it's considered an intangible good, like a place that because of being rich in biodiversity, it cannot be touched. So the government tried to have construction works in it like a long time ago. But there was a huge march on 2011, like it lasted for 65 days, I think. The people that were advocating for tipness, for it to be considered untangible. And that march accomplished the enactment of a law that protects tipness for it to be not allowed to construct any work in there because of the biodiversity and what it would cost to the environment. But in 2017, the Legislative Assembly decided to replace that law for another one that would make possible the construction of a road that would divide tipness, like would cut it in half, causing a huge damage for the environment and disregarding a lot of lives that are there, animals and plants and the trees. It would cause like the cutting like how many trees? Like 500,000 trees in half, like the tala. And yeah, they knew this, but they were saying that because the construction of that road would help a lot of families that live in Tipnis and they would have a better life and stuff like that. But this wasn't true. This was just an interest to have more access to commodities and more spaces to cultivate coca because it's right above Chapare.
Okay.
So on 2017, they put that law that replaced the other law that said you cannot touch tipnis. And they reported this before the International Rights of Nature Tribunal.
And on 2017, they won. The International Commission issued the final report, which instructed the International Tribunal to penalize Bolivia for violation to the rights established on the Universal Declaration of the Rights of Mother Nature. They issued a final sentence that same year, 2019, claiming nature has rights as a living being, fundamental rights that are to be protected from decisions that intend to limit them. So they won. It was like a huge thing because the government wasn't going to step down. They had like contracts already to build the road. But this sentence was filed in 2019, and a huge jungle was saved. It has like 3,000 different species of plants, and I think like 800 fauna of species, and 470 kinds of birds, I think. So it's pretty big, and they were going to start building there. And
sorry that I interrupt you, because for me it's a really interesting topic. We have some indigenous communities inside of this reserve, or no?
Yeah,
okay.
there are like if I'm not mistaken, like 1,400 people, indigenous people that live there.
Okay.
And
yeah.
Sorry?
Did I continue?
And well, that's what they were. Oh, sorry. If you have to get it.
No. I just I can. I am a lesson. They will understand.
Okay.
No worries.
So no, people live there. Families live there, and though it's pretty hard for them to have access to basic services and education, the construction of this road wasn't going to actually help them. This was like an interest from the government to keep on cultivating coke, and
and this is so controversial because they here protect it a lot, they consume it a lot, so they will find it like
better. Yeah, but there were a lot of people that was advocating for this not to be done, and they made it. I searched for the lawyer that was in charge of the case, and his name is Guido Melgar, and he used to be vice minister of against corruption, I think, last year. I couldn't find what preparation he has or the background, what he studied besides law in the University San Francisco Javier de Chuquisaca. I don't know pretty much about him, but it was a huge fight. And the march that they did, the 8th Indigenous March for the 65 days, for they to enact the law that would protect Tibnis, which was a huge deal. For during the government of Evo Morales, it was a huge deal. Before what happened in 2019 with the fraud and all of that, this march was like the biggest thing against him that happened during his government. So it was a very big accomplishment, and a lot of biodiversity was saved with this sentence.
Yeah. Okay, that is pretty amazing, because in my country they basically kill the human rights defenders.
Wow.
So it's quite hard.
Yeah, I imagine.
To do something about it.
A lot of people that were in the march were repressed, and I don't know how heavy it got, but I know they repressed them and did some things to them. I would like to know how big the things they did were. I don't know how many damage it costed.
Okay. Perfect. I understand. And I want to know if in your law school, did you saw these topics like as a subject? Did you saw like environmental law, agrarian? No,
we had like a subject that was called special proceedings.
Yeah.
It included a little bit of mineral law and environmental law, but it was like just, okay, so this is what it's about, bye. And that was it.
Okay.
We didn't ever like get to the bottom of it. We never studied it, or I don't know, checked a sentence or a process or something like that. And it is very important. So I didn't know anything about the subject until yesterday when you started talking to us about it. I didn't know anything really.
And what do you think that, well, what do you think that is important about, or the importance of, or the relevant aspects that we should study in this matter? So which part do you think that is really important for you, and what do you want to learn? Because
I
I'm
would like.
doing the design for the next sessions.
Okay, so because of what I read today and how I saw the importance of the biodiversity, like in a more specific way, I would say that something important when you have to study this kind of law would be the balance that you want to get, maybe to improve the lives of the people that live in this kind of place, and taking care of the biodiversity that lives there too. So finding that balance, improving both lives must be super hard. And I think that it's very important to maybe see how they do it in different countries. I'm not sure. I know nothing about it, but seeing how they do it in other countries, checking different people's points of view, and all of that thing, because regarding minerals and the earth and cultivating things and everything, you get like a balance, and you should know that. Maybe this is more general, not so much about law, but that caught my attention.
Okay, Laura. And why do you think that agricultural law or agrarian law isn't called the attention for the law schools, for make it as a complete subject and to go deep in the content of this subject? What do you think that is the reason?
I'm gonna say something very basic, but that just came in my mind super fast. I think it sounds boring. I don't know. I don't think that you hear the name and you say, "Oh my God, yeah," you get excited. That doesn't happen to me until now.
Yeah.
Now I know. But before it was like, oh, I don't want, I don't want to hear about.
I want to sleep. Bye.
Yeah. So maybe it's that reason. Maybe they see like it's not very profitable. Maybe that's another reason. Maybe they don't think a lawyer or a lot of lawyers are going to want to specialize in this topic. Maybe that's another reason. I'm not sure. I will ask if I can. Why don't you consider it important for the people that teach here? But I'm not sure. I thought it was very boring.
Okay, Laura, can you please remind me in which country, in which university did you study?
Católica.
Okay, in Catholic University.
Yeah.
You this is like off record now, or speaking call are done, but I'm trying to figure out which university can offer like the best quality and education here in Bolivia for post-graduations degrees. And do you have a perception, like a general perception? Because I can find like online, I found like the ranking from all the universities in Bolivia. They lead like the international ranking. And I found like the first one that is like in the, I can't remember, maybe 3,000 ranking or something like worldwide. That is the first one in Bolivia, is something with San Andres.
Universidad Andina Simón Bolívar.
No, algo de San Andrés, Universidad, no
Mayor
sé qué,
de San
Andrés. Sí, creo. Esa es la número 1, como del ranking. Pero tú sabes que una cosa es lo que dice Internet y otra cosa es lo que dicen como, pues, alguien que estudia esta área. Quiero escuchar tu opinión.
¿En español o en inglés?
En español, ya terminamos nuestro speaking hasta que se conecte el siguiente.
A nivel posgrados, a mí me interesa mucho la Universidad Andina Simón Bolívar, que justamente están poniendo a disposición muchas maestrías. Si puedes ver su página web, tiene un catálogo muy interesante. Tiene docentes internacionales que lo van a impartir, igual docentes nacionales que son personas muy preparadas, y yo lo sé porque son socios de bufetes de abogados que son árbitros, entonces son muy buenos realmente en lo que hacen. Y yo estaba interesada en esta de derecho económico, regulatorio y empresarial, pero no, se me está cruzando, quiero tomar otro curso ahorita con la Universidad Austral de Argentina, que están haciendo inglés jurídico igual, y justo empieza cuando terminemos este. Y además tal vez entré a trabajar, entonces dije, trabajo nuevo, maestría, que me va a sacar la mugre porque va a ser súper dura, no sé. Y además que tengo otro trabajo, entonces 2 trabajos, mi maestría, me voy a volver loca, dije. Pero siempre sacan los de la Universidad Andina Simón Bolívar y a mí me llama muchísimo
¿Y
la
esa en
atención.
dónde queda? ¿En La Paz?
Tienen sede, la sede principal está en Sucre y tienen sede
Ah,
acá en La Paz. Pero todos los cursos que están sacando ahorita, maestrías y todo, es online. Y es
ok.
una gran ventaja. Y estaba buscando posgrados internacionales también. Y por eso
Ujú,
di con el inglés jurídico de la Universidad Austral de Argentina, que está muy interesante y lo voy a tomar.
ok. Pregunta técnica, ¿qué tal están las becas
Ay, eso
con
no
estas
sé.
universidades? ¿Ni idea?
No, pero los precios de las maestrías en la Universidad Andina Simón Bolívar para las personas que vivimos en Bolivia es menor de las personas que viven en los otros países. Si acá te
Gracias.
sale una maestría $3.000, si vivieses en Colombia o en Ecuador te
Ajá.
saldría 5.000 más o menos.
O más,
Es
mucho
una
más.
gran ventaja, sí,
No es nada. En
y
comparación a lo
vale
que
la
vale en
pena.
mi país, no es nada.
Sí, yo creo
Ok,
que vale la pena realmente.
voy a chismosear,
Ya,
porque estaba pensando como, bueno, la cuarentena va a estar larga, debería ponerme a
ah,
hacer algo con mi vida.
sí, yo también estoy bien estresada pensando qué más puedo hacer.
Sí, sí, porque las cosas no se van a solucionar pronto.
No,
No, no, cada vez lo veo más complejo. Y
sí, yo
bueno,
también.
es parte de. Entonces, muchísimas gracias por tus luces. Voy a chismosear a ver qué encuentro. Capaz que termine estudiando en Sucre.
No, sí,
Y,
sí, fíjate la página.
y bueno, así quedamos. La idea es como discutir este tipo de temática la próxima semana y
Ya.
poder irnos a fondo en esta área, pues a fondo dentro de lo que se puede, porque me toca dedicarle como 2, máximo 3 clases a cada una y ya seguir. Si no, voy a dejar por fuera otras cosas que también necesitamos ver. Y bueno, entonces así quedamos. Te veo la próxima semana.
Llegué,
Bueno,
súper, que estés bien, buen fin de
súper.
semana.
Igual Ay, espera,
Chao.
espera. ¿Llenaste la encuesta?
No, 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 qué bueno que me hiciste recuerdo.
Listo. Ahora sí. Él fue
Vale,
libre.
nos vemos, descansa.
Chao, cuídate. Adiós, igualmente. Hello, good night. How are you?
Hi.
How is everything going? Good. Okay, so today we have two activities. We will start for the first one, that is the patent activity. I want to figure out if you feel like all the format and all the vocabulary basis, and if you maybe find some troubles or you have some questions or you want that I answer something, just let me know because this is the right time to do it. And after that, we will start to talk about the patent. Okay?
Okay. And I have a question. I don't understand one definition
Mm-hmm. Which
is
one?
wait is domain name.
Ah, yes. Okay. That is easy. Imagine that you have one store that sells water, right? And you need to create a website. So you will put like www.thewatersofcrisha.com, right? That name online that figures your website is called domain name. So when you want to create a website, you need to buy that domain name to some office, and then you have like a permission, or you are allowed to post information online for 1 year, 2 years, whatever that you buy that domain name. But what about the activity was related is that some people that have money start, or not too much money, but they just want to be annoying. They start to buy a lot of domains names that are so common, and then the business is like they try to sell it to the company. For example, if I try to buy some brand that is really important, and I need to buy it as a company, then I will have to pay somebody else that buy it first than me, right? For example, I have a lot of money and I start to buy a lot of domains names, www.vital.com, www.samsung.com, and then when these companies, all these companies or those companies needs to buy that domain name, they will have to pay me. That is something that they do it a lot, but it's not so good. So that is a bad behavior. But that is domain name. Is like the right that you have or that you got or that you buy for allows you use some platform online. Okay, other question. What about the symbols? What's clear, the symbols for you? Like the R and the C, the
No,
one that
this
related.
confusion because in a definition in the dictionary, two definition. One say that something of the United States, and the other one not say. So I confused. I don't put nothing in this definition.
So basically these are symbols that we can use for represent something that allows to get information about the register. For example, the C is related with copyright. We can check that symbol on one book and we will see it like by the editorial. And if we see copyright or that C, this symbol of copyright, we will understand that are protected by this law and that someone registered this product. And if I didn't use it in the good way that I need to do it, I will have troubles like legal issues, right? And then the R is almost the same, but we use it a lot for products and for brands. Remember what is trademarks and what is branding? Did you remember that?
The C is for the books, music, I think.
Yeah, for everything, but also you can find it here.
Mm-hmm.
Focus.
Yes.
You can find here a C, and that means the copyright. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's the copyright. It's not just for books. It just means that you are inside of a protection, right? But the R is more related with the branding, con la marca registrada. Está muy relacionado con todo este tema de trademarks, de la marca, de la creación de marcas. Si es una marca registrada, generalmente va a tener la R. Piénsate en las grandes, Coca-Cola, Samsung. Son marcas registradas, son marcas que tienen como una protección para evitar los plagios, para evitar la piratería, etc. Pero el copyright puede estar, o sea, las marcas pueden estar relacionadas con todo. Imagínate que es este tipo de producto. Pero luego el copyright está más relacionado a la producción y la invención intelectual, por eso vemos como música, libros, melodías, películas, series, obras. Está muy relacionado con esto, es como una producción muy intelectual y el registro es solamente un ejercicio muy técnico en el cual tú ante una oficina o una agencia dejas de presente que ese producto te pertenece, pero como en un tema de branding, ¿ok? De marca.
O sea que el copyright viene como enlazado con el intellectual property, algo así.
Como propiedad intelectual. Claro. ¿Qué es la propiedad intelectual? Piénsalo. Así dame una definición fácil en español. ¿Qué significará propiedad intelectual?
Por lo que yo entendí es como las ideas de algo.
¿Y qué significa propiedad en español? ¿Qué significa propiedad?
Algo mío.
Algo tuyo. ¿Y intelectual?
De la mente.
Entonces, conéctalo. Es algo que me pertenece, es una producción intelectual que me pertenece. Es algo que está por allá en la estratosfera. Todos sabemos quién es Shakira. Todos sabemos qué música es de Shakira. Todos sabemos quién inventó Apple. Todos sabemos quién hace buenos celulares, quién hace las mejores computadoras. Es algo que está aquí en el aire. Lo sabemos porque no es que tengamos el producto, solo tenemos la idea, la percepción. Todo eso está relacionado con el mundo de la propiedad intelectual, que hay diferentes áreas adentro, como el branding, el marketing, trademarks, trade secrets, trade names, negotiations. We have a lot of concepts inside of intellectual property law. And my idea with this vocabulary was that you understand and classify it everything. And then if you have some questions, then you can do it. But basically, we can find like a lot of areas that explain us what is and how is this area of law so important for us and for the sectors of the economy as the businesses and the productive stuff and the entrepreneurs, artists, and all the people that do creations and create things, all the things that we see around us, someone invented. And this is the way that you protect inventions, but also that you protect like process. Did you saw the video about patents? I cannot remember if you stay in the lesson or you didn't stay.
I don't remember.
¿No te acuerdas que estuviste en la clase?
Sí, sí,
¿Te
estuve en la
acuerdas?
clase.
¿Te acuerdas la vez que hicimos como que vimos? Esta es una patente, que yo le mostré un mouse.
Sí,
¿Tú estuviste en esa clase? Ok.
Sí.
Entonces la tarea de esa clase fue primero llenar ese formato. ¿Y tienes alguna otra duda? ¿Qué otra parte te resultó confusa?
No, solo eso creo.
Ok. Y luego era buscar una patente y explicarla. ¿La buscaste?
No. Usé el Google Patent, vi los diferentes filtros. I saw the different filter, and I saw that in the filter you can search the application and no sé cómo, pero yo vi como que se podían poner sinónimos tanto de aplicaciones, podías buscar aplicaciones, medio busqué cosas, pero no fue así a investigar bien a cabalidad.
Okay, perfect. No worries. I understand perfectly. This is just a process. So basically, Google Patents is one of the huge databases online that you can find some information about what the people or which product the people register online. Depending of your country, you will have some offices that oversee these relationships, right? That they check that everything is going good. But actually, if you create a phone right now, you will have like inside of the phone a lot of technology that have been development for a lot of engineers and scientists and whatever, right? So every time that you improve one process, cada vez que tú mejoras un proceso industrial or like an industrial process or one design process, you can create a patent. And if you want like international protections, you will register on Google Patents. So my idea was that you find one patent and that you explain to me what if you be I will create the exercise with you. Imagine that you have a lot of money, that are you rich. So which problem of your life you solve? For example, I will give you one example. I want a machine that make my breakfast, right? For example, which problem do you want to solve if you be rich? Like in about an invention, right? Like what thing did you invent? For example, one of your colleagues or one of your classmates, they say like, I want to create, I want to have a pencil that if I put it on paper, all the things that I am like selecting starts to come like electronic, and now it's invented. Other ones like the high heels. Do you remember? Do you know what is high heels? Tacones, como zapato alto. I want to create a high heels that we can change the size, and if we are tired dancing, we start to get it like smaller, and then we can dance like with comfort. And that is done also in Japan and China. So that was my plan. So think about it, and we will discuss it. Think about something, Crisia, that you like to have, like to create. Piensa en algo que te gustaría crear si tuvieras todo el dinero. ¿Qué crearías? Cuéntame.
Es como un robotcito, bueno, no sé si ya lo crearon, pero como un robotcito que ayude como en serie de la casa, como cuando yo no estoy, en esto que lleven la ropa a la lavadora, la metan ahí.
So I will look it right now. I am opening Google Patents and see if we can find something. Then I will share my screen. Okay, are you seeing my screen right now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so do you want robot that clean, right?
Yes.
Of course. I'm so sure that we will find it. In Australia, you can find a lot of robots that clean like supermarket. Underwater cleaning robot and auxiliary cleaning work machine. Apartment and spice and moving. So the idea is that you start to familiarize all this information and how you can find it when you need it, when you are belonging a successful lawyer in your country, and you need to and some clients and you need to explain them how you can create a patent. You will find a lot of examples online. So, right, you can have the number, like the descriptions, all the state of the art or prior art, that is like el estado del arte, who talk about this, how they do it, who was the inventor, the languages, the assistant, right? So it's a submersible cleaning robot comprising a robot body that moves along the surface of cleaning subject 10% underwater and cleaning noselet unit. That it's provided within the robot body and cleans the robot body and cleans the cleaning subject items jetting high pressure water towards the surface of etc. Then you will find some drawings that how this works. I guess that is like clean the cleaner. Helps like to clean the machine. And here, that is the states of the art. Here, the find prior art, you will find like all the history, all the story about it. Where I start to, when we start to talk about it, and you, it's like 10 pages or more, and you can like download, check 100 pages. You can download and have like all this information. Also, you can oversee, you can check, you can, if you are, for example, representing one company that want to create a machine, you can do like a whole study and explain to them why something can be different about the model that they are trying to put it on market, right? So that's why it's important that you be related with patents. By the time that you start to see that this topic at university, you will be so advanced because this is really important topic that we see and you are seeing now without start the career. When you will start your lessons?
¿Cómo?
When you will start your lessons?
No entiendo.
¿Cuándo vas a comenzar tus clases? When you will start your lessons?
8 de marzo.
Así, vamos a leer. When
Se traba a veces mi internet, hoy está últimamente está bien bajo.
lessons. When you will start your lessons?
El 8 de marzo.
Perfect. So that was the first activity. That was the first speaking poll. Now we have other one. That
¿Te puedo
is the one.
preguntar algo de eso de Google Patent?
Sí, cuéntame.
O sea que ahí es como el Google, uno puede como me estaba diciendo, ¿verdad? Alguien que tiene dinero para poder como invertir en un trabajo así, ahí como que uno busca y puede comprar la patente de esas cosas que uno ve. No.
No, pero puedes conocer quién es el dueño de la patente. O sea, no mediante esta plataforma, pero sí puedes buscar el nombre, puedes buscar después el número de contacto, puedes ver cómo conseguir esa patente, ese permiso, puedes mirar a ver si de pronto puedes invertir. Por ejemplo, yo no sé, un diseño para una tablet de Huawei o de Lenovo. Y entonces tú quieres invertir en el siguiente diseño, en lo que ellos están trabajando. Tú puedes llegar a esa información vía Google Patents y después tratar de invertir en la bolsa para tener unos dividendos, dependiendo de esas inversiones. ¿De acuerdo? Súper. Otra cosa que ya pasaríamos a la siguiente speaking call es el tema de agrarian law o agricultural law. Este tema de derecho agrario es algo que nosotros ni siquiera como abogados lo vimos en la universidad, pero más o menos, pues por lógica básica, entendemos de lo que se trata, ¿verdad? O sea, sabemos que estamos hablando del agro, de la agricultura, del agronegocio, de las granjas, las fincas, como sea que le digan en tu país. ¿Y por qué los abogados están metidos ahí? Pues porque la papa se tiene que vender, la papa se puede importar, la papa se puede truequear, la papa se puede perder, la papa se la puede llevar el Estado, la papa se puede expropiar, la papa se puede contaminar, el agua no le puede llegar a la papa, se puede morir el dueño de la papa, o sea, todas las posibilidades que pueden estar alrededor de este tema lo encontramos in this kind of fields that is agrarian or agricultural law, right? This is a really important topic that I want that we discuss in the next sessions, and is how these take influence about our lives and why in our universities we didn't see it as a subject. Nosotros no lo vemos como una materia. We saw something that is like special proceedings on some cases, and in other ones you can see some environmental issues, and you understand like all these climate change and how this is take influence. But we never see how are the proceedings or how you can protect some rights of the farmers, que son los campesinos, ¿verdad? Entonces este es un tema supremamente importante. La tarea que teníamos para hoy, para esta speaking call, era encontrar algún proceso relacionado, algún caso, alguna noticia que estuviera relacionado con este agrosector y lo íbamos a discutir en esta speaking Entonces, cuéntame tú qué encontraste, cómo lo encontraste, cuál es tu opinión y vamos haciendo la clase. In English, please.
Okay, I try. I will try.
Yes.
And after, before the year, past a situation in El Salvador, for example.
Ok. Estás diciendo el año pasado, ¿verdad?
No, wait.
¿Qué estás queriendo decir?
Que años atrás pasó una situación aquí en El Salvador.
Okay, some years ago, you can say, or you can also say the last year, some years ago, or last year, or you say the year, for example, it was in 2017, in El Salvador, right?
Okay. I do not remember the year, but some years ago,
Some years ago.
Salvador have a problem. The name of the problem is reforma agraria. The president in this time hit the terreno, no sé cómo se dice.
Fields or lands, puedes decir así, lands.
Hit land for the campesinos, indigenous.
Like to indigenous or farmers.
Farmers.
Como farm, como granja, pero le colocas ERS.
Okay. Or farmers. And time error, the president del
the government.
Yes, I think that the government have a different situation. A lot of people marcharon and lucharon. No sé, es que no sé cómo expresarlo en inglés.
No, you can say something like the people fight for their rights, or the people went against the government, the people do like some revolution about one decision of the government.
The people do a revolution for the government, and the government don't do no sabía qué hacer. Entonces,
the government didn't know what to do.
The government didn't do.
Or didn't know. The government didn't know what to do. Así. Yeah, perfect.
And later, the government give the land of the indigenous, but give one part, no all the part of that, la parte que era de ellos. O sea, como que es que fue una situación bien difícil. No sé cómo explicar.
A ver, explícala en español y lo vamos traduciendo.
Ok. Él pasó eso, de que le quitó las tierras. O sea, todas los campesinos, o sea, vivían ahí, tenían terreno, plantaban, todo bien. Pero no tenían un como derecho, o sea, escrito que era de ellos. Entonces, ¿qué hizo el gobierno? Fue quitarle a todos estos indígenas, a todos estos campesinos, todas sus tierras. Y muchas de las personas pues decidieron no quedarse calladas y empezaron a marchar, a luchar y todo eso, ¿verdad? Entonces el gobierno al ver todo eso, lo que hizo fue regresarle, pero una parte de las tierras a las personas, no se las regresaron todas, las que le pertenecía a ellos. ¿Y qué hacía? O sea, se querían como lucrar también de eso y le daba la parte de las tierras a ellos, pero veían a otra familia que quizás no tenía tierra, no, o sea, vivía en una casa más chiquita y toda la cosa, y ellos querían lucrarse de eso y de la otra parte que le quitaron a la otra familia, se la daban a otra. Y le decían, yo se lo di porque era parte, era del gobierno, aquí y allá. Entonces se empezaron a lucrar de eso y después se llenaban la boca, como decimos, con que ellos habían dado eso, cuando nunca fue así. Ya,
Okay,
todo.
something that I can like do a little resume with all the things that you told me was like some years ago, the government of my country take the decision to expropriate some lands and give them to other people. And they want to take advantage, a political advantage from that situation. Can you see how English modify and simplify everything? Lo hace algo muy grande en algo muy chiquito. Entonces, ok, ellos hicieron expropiaciones. ¿Y estos eran campesinos?
Sí.
Okay. Do you have some indigenous communities in your country?
Yes, but little.
How many indigenous communities or groups do you have in El Salvador?
Excuse me?
How many groups of indigenous communities do you have in El Salvador? ¿Cuántos grupos de comunidades indígenas tú tienes en El Salvador?
No, no sé muy bien.
¿No sabes? Esa es la tarea, importantísimo.
I think one, but I don't know. I have a friend that work, the job is in ONG.
Yes.
And he worked in the communities and the indigenous, and he helped these people, and he give the food, the water, the clothes. And last week, he told me that, and you can give me clothes that you don't use, and I give the different clothes. I give the t-shirt, the sweaters, etc. And he gives to a lot of people that indigenous people, and this.
Okay, perfect. But you know that sometimes it's like not the correct just to try to help these communities, giving them clothes or something. It's quite hard for us to understand their perception of life. Now they are like kind of in contact with our systems, and they are also so corrupt. But the most protected one, or the people that lives in natural reserve or reserves and are so far away from the huge cities, are people that it's poor, like they we can say that, seen as a point of view that is quite stupid, but they are highly rich in all the duties with Mother Earth and all the responsibilities that they can get as a society, right? They have like standards really high. They have like everything so organized, and they know how to do the stuff, right? So that is also so important.
I don't remember in which country. I think that Guatemala or Nicaragua. I don't remember. ya es Nicaragua, en fin. Había una abogada que defendía los derechos indígenas y que estaba luchando por su país, por eso, por los indígenas, porque les estaba pasando lo mismo, estaban quitándole tierras, etc. Y la mataron por eso mismo.
En Colombia pasa todo el tiempo. Hay muchos defensores de derechos humanos asesinados. Y a veces, no sé, nosotros tenemos lo que te estaba diciendo ahorita para hacer una traducción ahí como simultánea. Nosotros tenemos la percepción de que ayudando a esas personas va a ser como regalándoles ropa, llevándoles comida. Muchas veces no es así. Muchas veces la protección se tiene que dar desde un ámbito jurídico y permitirles, o sea, permitirles dejar ser, aparte de toda esta conexión, de toda esta contaminación mental y energética y todo, sino respetarles y mantenerse completamente aparte de ellos. Hay algunas comunidades en América Latina que nunca han tenido contacto con el Internet, por ejemplo, y depende desde el punto que se vea, desde el punto de vista, puede ser algo muy bueno o algo muy malo, pero hay que dejarles ser y protegerles como tal. Siento que ese tiene que ser el trabajo de los defensores y defensoras de derechos humanos, de velar porque el agua que llega a estos territorios no se contamine, de velar por muchas circunstancias que pueden llegar a, de una u otra manera, afectarles como comunidad, porque resulta que si el agua que ellos tienen está contaminada, si la contamino desde afuera, estoy agrediéndolos, no solamente como a la madre tierra, sino también estoy agrediendo a la comunidad, porque no van a poder tener eh, pues, acceso a este líquido vital y van a tener problemas de salud, entonces estoy básicamente atentando en contra de ellos.
Nosotros
Todo esto.
hablamos mucho de eso, por lo mismo, ¿verdad? Que ella está como un poquito más actualizada en estas cosas, lee bastante sobre eso, y nuestro amigo nos informa un poquito sobre eso, ¿verdad? Entonces estábamos hablando de eso mismo hace unos días, de que, o sea, en otros países, gracias a las personas indígenas que siempre están cuidando la naturaleza, los árboles, el agua, sus terrenos, nosotros estamos bien, nosotros estamos recibiendo aire, agua limpia, etcétera, ¿verdad? Porque como ellos son defensores de lo que a ellos les ha costado cuidar. Y muchas veces, no me acuerdo en qué país, estábamos leyendo con mi mami, de que ellos en Brasil no les gusta que entren en su territorio, por lo mismo de que sienten de que van a destruir lo que a ellos tanto les ha costado cuidar. Y, y me dice, mami, o sea, es bien yuca porque la gente no respeta.
¿Es bien qué?
Bien yuca.
¿Qué significa eso? ¿Malo?
Es bien difícil, es complicado. Ajá, es una palabra bastante utilizada aquí en El Salvador, porque no respetamos lo que a ellos les ha costado. Y tiene bastante razón porque nosotros no nos hacemos responsables de nuestros actos, o sea, y siempre como que no nos importa, no vale. A ellos les cuesta cuidar, como tú decías, el agua, porque ahí se alimentan ellos no tienen un filtro de agua en la que puedan filtrar todo el agua sucia, pues ellos van y buscan en los ríos, en los lagos, y nosotros aquí lo entusiasmamos. Bueno, aquí se da bastante eso, no es por hablar mal de mi cultura, pero, o sea, sí, como que no le toman mucha importancia a esas cosas. Entonces es bien.
Bueno, Crisia, entonces estamos al día con todas nuestras speaking calls. Hasta el momento no me debes nada. Sí, estamos al día. Y te veo la próxima semana entonces en clase. Que te vaya muy bien, que descanses. Y
gracias, igual. Buenas noches.
Chao, buenas. Ay, espera, no te vayas. No te vayas.
La votación.
Sí, porfa, realiza la votación.
Sí, listo.
Listo, gracias. Chao, que estés bien. Adiós.